F1 is back with a bang as the first media day of 2025 pulls a punch as Helmut Marko refuses to rule out Max Verstappen leaving Red Bull, whilst Lando Norris offers a very honest reflection on what battling the reigning world champion was like. From Racing News 365, I've got Max in my head. My name is Nick Golding, and I'm joined, as always, by lead editor Ian Parks for what is a brand new F1 update series for 2025, bringing you post-media day F1 updates every Thursday of Grand Prix week, bringing you the biggest talking points from the various media pens, press conferences. Ian, g'day, mate. You are, of course, in Melbourne. I had to get it in once. You are, of course, in Australia for the Australian Grand Prix. It's evening for you, quite early here in the UK. I mean, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right, Nick. When I come to events like this, mate, I use sleeping tablets to help. So
Smart.
it's the only way, exactly. It's the only way I'm going to get through a decent night's sleep to help me then focus on the day ahead, particularly a day like today, which started off super early, 9 o'clock. Mercedes held an event down at St Kilda Beach where they put up Toto, George, Kimi, and even Valtteri Bottas as their reserve driver for this year. And then, of course, you come from straight out of that, straight into the paddock. Media sessions start at 11 a.m. local time, and they run all the way through until 4:30. We concluded with Zach Brown and Andrea Stella, holding a bit of an impromptu session, it must be said. That was put late on the calendar by McLaren. So we got their thoughts on a range of topics that have come into this weekend and, of course, going across the weekend. So all in all, from 9 o'clock this morning through to about a 5 p.m. finish. And here I am coming up to 7:45 my time, local time. And I'm speaking to you and to all you good folk out there. Hello, everybody.
All right, well, let's kickstart then with, I guess, one of the big talking points of the day. But actually, it's been something that's been discussed and speculated a lot during the winter break. And that is, of course, will Max Verstappen stay at Red Bull and honour his contract until the end of 2028? Or will he leave and go elsewhere if Red Bull can't perform? Max himself has obviously discussed today in the press conference that Red Bull needs to be patient with the car. There are some things to be tweaked. Helmut Marko has come out and said that effectively Red Bull needs to give Max a race-winning car. Max has performance clauses, so effectively, if Red Bull can't deliver the goods, then, well, Max can leave if he wants.
Hello, welcome back, F1. Wow, what a bombshell to start the season with. Thank you, Helmut Marko, the man who always delivers with a quote, and he's done so again. Who would have thought that we'd go into the start of this season? Not a wheel has turned in anger so far. We've only had pre-season testing, and good old Helmut, Red Bull's advisor, comes out with a remark like that saying, yep, Max has got these clauses. He can go if we don't perform. Who's to say what could happen on that front? But you would have thought that at least Max might bide his time into 2026 because we know we've got that major regulation change. Who knows where Red Bull might be in the pecking order? It's going to be producing its own power unit for next season, of course. It's going to have technical support from Ford, as we all know. So you kind of feel Max just might bide his time for 26, and then those performance clauses might kick in if Red Bull isn't contesting alongside Mercedes, Ferrari, of course. Aston Martin's going to be Honda back for 2026 onwards. So that you've got to figure that they're going to be quite a heavyweight. And then, of course, we've got Audi coming into the mix as well. So who knows what might happen in 26. But for now, let's focus on 25. I can't see Max, honestly, activating those performance clauses because he, like everybody else, has got no damn idea as to which team is going to be out front in 2026. So he might as well stay put for this season, for next season, and then let's see where Red Bull lies in that pecking order. And then those performance clauses might kick into effect. But my goodness me, Alma, what a way to start the season, pal. Carry on.
Well, okay, let's stick with 2025 because, of course, the bookies' favourite for both titles is, of course, McLaren for the constructors, Lando Norris in the drivers. And I feel like the theme of the first media day of 2025 has been honest reflections because Lando delivered, well, quite an honest reflection of himself and what it was like battling Max last season, in particular areas where he feels he needs to improve and perhaps has improved. Lando, it feels like he's got a bit of confidence about him and that things were learnt last year by him.
Which is unsurprising when you think about it, because if you look at those battles that he had on track with Max last season, let's start very quickly. If you look at Austria, that was a tremendous battle. And Lando came out of that very punchy with some of his remarks. However, in the few short days that followed between the Austrian and the British, he was almost apologetic in some respects, bearing in mind he and Max had a conversation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He and Max had a conversation about what had taken place in Austria. And as I say, it was almost as if he was apologizing to Max in some respects, and he changed his tune. And I kind of figured that set the tone for a few of those battles that then followed until we really came to Austin, where he kind of like, he was admitted himself. He opened the door to Max, early on. And Max just sailed by, didn't really put up a fight, put up a bit more of a fight later in the race. But then when we got to Mexico, that's why I felt he had learned the lessons. And I just wonder whether somebody had a bit of a word in his ear and said, look, come on, Lando, you're better than this. You can do better than this. You can battle Max harder than this. He now feels he's better equipped going into this season. But it's not just Max. He also now feels he can go up against any driver. And if Red Bull is not going to be initially at the front of the pack fighting for those top positions, then of course we're looking at his own teammate in Oscar Piastri. We're looking at the Ferrari duo of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Lando is very, very confident that Ferrari is going to be up there punching its weight with him and Oscar and McLaren overall for the honours over these first few Grand Prix. But he also believes that Red Bull is going to be in the mix as well. He was actually quite surprised by the question that stated, well, everybody up and down the paddock is saying that you're the favourites. And he said, well, actually, I kind of feel that's short-sighted of those people to say that. And the reason why he mentioned it is because everybody looked at that long run that he did in pre-season testing, and quite clearly the car looked a cut above anything else that we saw on long run pace at the Bahrain International Circuit. He felt, however, that the circumstances, the conditions played a part. We all know it was very unseasonal weather at that time of year. And then he also pointed to the fact that when Oscar, the day after, did his own long run, it was nowhere near as good as the day before. So he kind of gave his reasons as to why he was saying he and McLaren shouldn't be viewed as favourites. But unfortunately, as we stand, without the fact we've not had qualifying yet, that's not too far away, of course. Right now, he and McLaren are the favourites based on everything that we've seen so far. We can't get away from that fact. Sorry, Lando. You're just going to have to deal with it now until we see what we've got in qualifying on Saturday.
And of course, McLaren were already in the headlines going into this weekend, obviously with Oscar Piastri signing a new multi-year contract. Stefano Domenicali, the F1 CEO and president, of course, he's going to continue as well in his roles through to 2029. But Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton, the biggest talking point, I think, during the entire winter break for obvious reasons. And even he, giving quite an honest reflection of his early career, saying that he drowned many times early in his career. Quite interesting wording from Lewis in what is a very big weekend for him, it's fair to say.
Yeah, it was in response to a question about the number of rookies that we've got on the grid this year. And I am going to go and count 5, as I've mentioned previously.
Yeah.
I don't think we can look at Liam Lawson at Red Bull in any way as a rookie. He's had 11 Grand Prix over the past 2 seasons. The only way Liam is a little bit of a rookie is when he's going into circuits that he's not previously raced at. But even so, with 11 Grand Prix behind him, that's still more than all the other 5 put together, in all honesty. So let's discount Liam from that equation. So yes, Lewis was talking about, his building time, his journey to get to where he is today. And of course, yes, he was champion in only his second year. Of course, he was very nearly champion at the end of his first year, so close. But to get there and to get to where he is today, as you've rightly put it, Nick, his own words, he said that he felt like he drowned on a number of occasions. And you can imagine that Formula One, this bubble that we work and live in to a certain extent, it is all consuming. The spotlight is on you, as in particular for rookies, because they know they've got to perform from the get-go. They know that there is somebody else over their shoulder just itching to take their seat. Take Jack Doohan, for example. We know what kind of situation he is in. He's got Franco Colapinto, a Flavio Briatore favourite, and of course Flavio stepped in at Alpine, of course, as it's like a man in the type of managing role. Flavio made a heavy play for wanting Franco Colapinto in Alpine, having seen his performances for Williams last season. So now Jack has got Franco breathing down his neck, wanting Jack's seat, of course. Jack, really good with his comments today in terms of what he said, that he can only focus on what he can do, that he's just going to enjoy every race as if it's his last, which I thought was quite a telling comment. But you get the idea that these rookies are under considerable pressure to perform, bearing in mind the guys that they've got wanting their seat. So alluding back to Lewis's comments, yes, this is why he drowned on numerous occasions, as he put it, because he knew the pressure that was on him at any given time throughout his journey towards the top.
Something to quickly mention to our viewers is that this weekend's Australian Grand Prix is quite a special one because it marks 10 years of Racing News 365, and as a result we are doing a prize, a giveaway. If you fancy winning a scale model F1 car of your favourite team or driver, all you've got to do to be in the chance of winning is be subscribed to the RacingNews365.com channel and comment below any video I want to win. It's as simple as that. Best of luck and, well, happy birthday RN365. Ian, very, very quickly before I let you go, because it's looking a little bit gloomy, I've got to say.
Sunset.
That's another very big talking point, but we'll discuss that more as the weekend, as we get into it. Charles Leclerc obviously came out and spoke about his dreams in that he's ticked the box of racing in F1. He's ticked the box of racing for Ferrari. He's ticked the boxes of winning in Monaco and Monza. Charles has, and he said, one dream left, an obsession to become F1 world champion. With some of the comments that have come out about Ferrari as well, when some believe they were maybe sandbagging in testing, this feels like potentially a very, very big chance for Leclerc this season.
I think he knows the car that he's got beneath him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to doff a cap to myself because that was actually my question to Charles, because everybody was talking about him. Exactly. Everybody was talking about him. Oh, you're Mr. Ferrari. You've been there so long. You know the team so well now. And I basically turned around and said to Charles, look, people are saying this about you, but surely your Ferrari career is not going to mean anything unless you finally land a driver's title. And that's when he then went into the comments that you've just aired, and in particular that lovely word as well that he used, obsession. This is it now. This is his absolute overriding number one goal left to set. He wants to be a Formula One world champion with Ferrari, the team that it has brought him through and got him to where he is today. But as he rightly said, it's all going to be for nothing unless he is F1 Drivers' Champion. And you got to feel, given the way that Ferrari performed towards the end of last season, battling McLaren all the way for that Constructors' title through to the final Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi, having what appeared to be a relatively strong pre-season testing, that they will be the main team to challenge McLaren. It could be quite a ding-dong battle between those two teams. I'm not going to discount Red Bull, of course. I'm not going to discount Mercedes to a certain extent. But you get the impression that for Charles, he feels this could be the biggest chance he might get to be that for a world champion with Ferrari.
In what feels like the number one phrase of 2025, only time will tell. Ian, amazing stuff as always. Go and get yourself some dinner. I need to get myself some breakfast. For those who be watching this video, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments below what you think is going to happen in this weekend's Australian Grand Prix and who's the rain going to catch out. From myself and Ian, we will see you after first and second practice on Friday. See you later.
And from Melbourne, take care as always, folks.